What is up, Squirrel Brain Reseller Optimist, with a how-to video and a quick story. This is a box resizer. Sounds kind of funny, but it actually can resize this box quite easily. When I worked for Nordstrom years ago, we used to kind of prank anyone that was new by telling them to go find the wall stretcher. And they would say, "What's the wall stretcher?" And you'd say, "Oh, well, it's in women's pants. Go up to women's pants and ask them for the wall stretcher." And they would proceed up to women's pants. And the people in women's pants would already know the prank. So they would say, "Oh, no, we don't have the wall stretcher. Go over to men's suits." And the person would go to men's suits and ask for the wall stretcher. And it was just kind of a fun prank. And by the time they had been to like 9 different departments, most of them figured it out or were so frustrated they came back down to the shoe department we worked in. But anyways, this is the name of this, box resizer. It kind of sounds like a fake item, but it is a real item. So we got some bubble wrap. We're going to lay it down in here first, flat. Once the bubble wrap's in there, we're going to take our article that we need to, get in the box. And we realize, obviously, very flat magazines are much too flat. Now, it'd be better if you shipped a lot of catalogs and magazines to already pre-have the boxes. The goal is to understand your business and know what sizes you're regularly going to need, and you would never go through this process. But there are cases, even veteran resellers, myself, I've sold, probably, I think we're at about 28,000 items sold on eBay, and I still, to this day, make mistakes and don't have the right box. Or, for instance, something like this, it's just, I never sell flat magazines very often. I have a bunch of them now, so I've got to look for a resolution. I don't really want to ship it in a mailer and stiffen it up with cardboard, which could be an option. Today, I want to present it to this customer in a box. So the resizer, I generally don't put any stuffing in here or anything yet, any filler. I've got that bottom layer of bubble, but you want the filling to be kind of out of the way because you want to get the box about as low as you can to the book so it's not shifting around. I will put a little filler on top. So basically, this adjusts here. I have it really tight because it can slip some. It goes up and down. So what I'll do is kind of guess a little bit, just lightly, and get it on there. And then when it's on there, you can actually adjust it and bring it up or down to where you want to be, making sure you give enough room for maybe a little bit of filler. And I like it right around here. I already had like a little test line I did. So I'll tighten it up nice and tight because it can slip if it's not tight. You'll want to get it on this edge. And this little wheel has these little sharp perforations, whatever you want to call it. You stick it in there and you just drag it across. You're going to do the same on this side. Drag it across. You're going to do it on this side. Drag it across. And you're going to do it over here. And it's going to perforate the box, make a kind of cut in it, but not deep enough to go all the way through. And that's going to allow you to fold the box over. But before you do that, you got to cut these corners. I used to often cut down. Now a lot of times I cut up. I still tend to go both ways, but I sort of found that going up for me, this box cutter's a little dull, works a little better. And that wasn't a perfect cut there at all. There we go. I don't know if any of them are that beautiful, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So we'll get all those corners cut. And now that the corners are cut, you'll see that this will actually just fold over. Fold over. So now that we see we've got our little ability to fold over, we'll take, depending on what product you want to ship with, take a little more bubble wrap there. I'll take some packing paper from here. This is actually newsprint. So it's basically newspaper that's never been printed on. Take a lot of that. It can compress down pretty good. And I'll fold these down over the top. Over the top. Now you can trim some of this excess if you want, but I figure, hey, it's more, stiffens up the box, so I leave a lot of it. I'll fold this over and I'll fold this over here. Now you can, if you want, you can just tape right here. Just make this point. We'll often trim this down just like that. Get rid of that. Fold that here. It creates a nice little seam line. I'll take my tape. You can use a tape gun. I'm just using this hand tape now. I actually have a pretty good habit of using this little hand dispenser. quite often. But this box, a little bigger, might be more effective for you to use a tape gun. And that's pretty much it. I'll probably add a little more extra tape. But you can see that box has reduced greatly. The magazines aren't moving around. And that's a simple way of using a box cutter. You might find a little variations in it. But this, I can't remember. They're probably about 20 bucks or so on Amazon, 25 bucks. Pretty indispensable tool for the reseller. And aside from having this, you should always try to gear all of your boxes that you order. Gear them to what you're regularly shipping. But there's always going to be times where you have a funky item. And this guy, the box resizer, it is a real thing, will save your butt. Thanks for watching.
Brain, Reseller Optimist.